Ahoy, mateys! Let me tell ye of the most cunning, devious pirate to ever sail the Sea of Thieves. Foul play. This dastardly dog and I set sail from the ancient spire, looking for other crews not keen on guarding their boats or watching their plunder, so that we could take it for our own. Not long had we sailed when we spotted a glowing red skull in the sky, and knew the pirate lord's treasure was nearby. Underneath, the red and black flag of the Reaper's bones, flying from the mast of a sloop. Never missing a chance to turn other pirates' hard work into our quick coin, we stashed our boat and rowed over to the accursed fort. Under the cover of night, we rowed right under their noses. The enemy crew too distracted by their battle to notice us get into position. Long and hard they fought, and finally they slew the Ashen Lord. Of course, our greedy enemies were too excited by their haul to remember to check for an even more dastardly crew, and loaded the treasure right into a rowboat for us. But alas, all pirates be devious, and instead of bringing the loot back to their sloop, where me and my crewmate were waiting, the scurvy dog started rowing away. Fortunately, the bilge rat was more daring than clever, and managed to acquaint the stronghold powder kegs in his rowboat with the blade of his cutlass. It were the last mistake he ever made. Bits of scurvy dog flew as high as the eye can see, and his soul rose to the sky. His rowboat full of loot sank to the bottom of the sea. But as it were going down, I managed to grab one piece of treasure off the splintered dinghy. The most valuable prize for a pirate on the Sea of Thieves, the life-changing chest of legends, was ours. There was still one scurvy dog in a sloop to deal with, though, and me crewmate dispatched both with ease as I hid Athena's prize. After our rivals were bested, we took the loot and our stashed grand prize to the fort and sold it all for a pretty penny. After we sold our first loot haul at port, we made our way to the Reaper's hideout to sell the flag of our vanquished foes. After all, the servant of the flame would pay a handsome bounty for even the flags of his own emissaries. Stopped in our tracks we were, though, when we saw another skull in the sky. This one black as night, with red eyes. The fort of the damned was under attack by another crew. Having heard tell of the riches inside the fort's vault, we knew we had to take it for ourselves. So we stashed our boat once more and swam for their ship. Waited in secret on their galleon we did for them to finish the fight, and in doing so found another dastardly crew hiding a sloop behind the rocks. Those scurvy dogs had the same plan as us. The galleon felled the fort leader, and we knew we had to act fast, lest we be set upon by the other sneaky sloop crew. The landlubbers on the galleon put the life-changing chest of legends in the captain's quarters, and I had but one course of action to take. Grab the chest I did, and set it in their rowboat, ready to paddle away before any crew was the wiser. As I started the long row to the nearest outpost, I heard the unmistakable boom of a stronghold powder keg. I left me prize on the rowboat to go help me crewmate secure the rest of the haul. But alas, time had run out, and another swimmer was upon us, and let me tell ye, these scurvy dogs were fearsome pirates and crack shots. Unaware the pirate lord's chest was safely aboard our rowboat offshore, they battled us for the rest of the loot, but we were bested in combat and had to retreat back to our own sloop. We sailed back as quick as we could to find our rowboat, only to see the fort of the damned had been set upon by a vicious storm. Long we searched for our precious boat, and our hearts began to grow heavy at the thought of Athena's prize lost to the sea. But then, me crewmate found it, but a few swim strokes away from our own sloop. Victory was not assured yet, though, as I encountered our enemy once again in the water. I had been spotted. I told my devious crewmate to make a break for it in the rowboat, as I vanquished my foe and made off in the sloop as a distraction. The storm grew fiercer still, and as I tried to lead our enemy away from the rowboat, it was destroyed by the storm, leaving me crewmate with nothing but the chest of legends and the deep ocean. Being a true legend of the sea, he managed to swim to the nearest island and bury our prize, as I was bested in naval combat by our enemy crew, leaving him marooned in sight of the enemy. Many a brave pirate would have fought for their life in the predicament my crewmate was in, but he is more devious than most. Tricked me did into thinking that he didn't have the pirate's lord treasure. He was merely searching for it, and he enlisted their help. Back to the Fort of the Damned our enemy brought him, in search of the lost chest, at his behest. None the wiser were they to the fact that he was leading them away from our prize. Having procured a new ship, I returned to the scene of the crime to retrieve Athena's treasure. Long did he stall the enemy at the Fort of the Damned as I scoured the island digging. Alas, I was not fast enough in my search, and one of the enemy crew returned to our island in search of the prize. I dispatched him with haste, and by what I can only assume be the blessing of Athena herself, the next stroke of me shovel plunged through the earth and struck wood with a sweet thud. Our prize were found. I grabbed it and fled into the water just as me crewmate returned to the island with the enemy, still under the guise of being their newfound ally. "Enemy on the island! Look to the south!" me dastardly crewmate called out as I swam north with the chest, praying to the crab lord that I had enough air in me lungs to get out of sight before surfacing. The crab lord were on me side that day, and I made it away, chest in hand. To Portal Rock I swam, giddy about the heist I had pulled off, but alas, I were set upon by a pack of sharks. 2 I vanquished with me weapons, but the 3rd took me by surprise, and I dropped me chest in the water, too injured to continue my escape. All seemed lost, and the prize gone to the sea, when me devious mate duped our enemy yet again. Over was the search, he said. The chest must have been lost long ago, and now it were time to move on with our voyages. I returned from the Ferry of the Damned, and we parted ways with our newfound allies. To Portal Rock we sailed again, praying to all the gods of the sea that our prize still floated. Well, we were blessed by the gods, and with a crack shot from me trusty harpoon, at long last I brought the chest of legends onto our ship. The day were won, and we sailed to the outpost and handed Athena's prize to the mysterious stranger at the tavern, who filled our pockets with a pretty penny. And so ends the tale of the most dastardly, devious pirate to ever sail the Sea of Thieves. Foul play.